smell is something else. It smells like you're being farted on by a big egg. Join us for a week. What was I going to say? Join us for a week. Taipei! From 1895 to the end of World War II, Taiwan was under the rule of the Japanese Empire. For these 50 years, Japan modernized the island with a powerful infrastructure of railways, electricity, and coal mines. After the war, the Republic of China, led by Sun Yat-sen, reclaimed the island and formed what is now Taiwan. A civil war against Mao Zedong's People's Republic of China ensued and led to the separation between China and Taiwan. Today, the two nations share little in common bar the use of Mandarin Chinese, though the Chinese government aggressively disagrees. We've come to Taipei, capital of Taiwan, and what is often referred to as the hipster capital of Asia, to see the natural beauty of this island and the electric passion of its people for ourselves. Our first stop, a very recognizable tea house. When I was about 13 years old, one of the first and most spellbinding experiences of Japanese animation that I had was watching Spirited Away. Before we came to Taiwan, we found out the tea house or bathhouse in Spirited Away is based on a real life location. And this is it. This is Zhoufen. It is located north of Taipei City, and it is the architectural and physical and perhaps spiritual inspiration for that incredible Studio Ghibli animated film. As you can see around me, this place is gorgeous. It is spellbinding. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, both in terms of natural beauty and architecture. However, massive caveat, it is disgustingly busy. It is flooded with tourists. Through the magic of cinema, I've tried my best to make it look peaceful, but it isn't. It really is a struggle to get through the throng of tourists here. The tourists are typically quite polite. A few are not. But just be warned, when you come here, and there are different ways of coming here, but when you do, it's busy. So in 1974, Hello Kitty took the whole world by storm, and for the next several decades, everyone from Paris Hilton to your mum was wearing Hello Kitty stuff. A few years ago, they hit a slump. They came out with something called Gudetama. I identify very strongly with Gudetama. When you feel like that novel you're working on isn't working out, you didn't become famous for X or Y or Z, think about Gudetama. Literally does nothing and feels very sad about it. Makes you feel a little bit better about yourself. But it's also adorable, and so we've come to the Gudetama Cafe, Gudetama Chef, in Taipei. We're enjoying some Gudetama coffee and some Gudetama sundaes. Hang on, here it is. It's good now. As we walk away from the Gudetama Cafe, the only criticism that I have is that on the menu, I didn't see any eggs. Behind me is Longshan Temple. It was built in 1738 by Chinese immigrants, and it was burnt down by fires and destroyed by earthquakes, but the people of Taipei wouldn't let that stand, and they've rebuilt it again and again, and it is gorgeous. It is fantastic. Now, I am going to say this one more time because I do think it bears repeating. This architecture is phenomenal. This is absolutely my favorite temple that I've ever set foot in. I've been here about 3.5 minutes and I don't want to leave. I went to a Confucian temple in Beijing a few years ago, and the atmosphere there was very different. In that temple it was very sparse, and it was very Beijing. A lot of the architecture there is very sparse, a lot of red wood and not a lot else. If you go to Bangkok, it is almost garish in terms of how much colour there is. And here they've managed to mix the two together incredibly well. There is a lot of colour, there's a lot of golds, greens, reds, and there's intricate carvings everywhere, in every corner of every piece of wood and every rooftop. It's phenomenal. I'm trying to capture it, not sure I'm doing it justice. Maybe I should get my face out of the film. Beitou Thermal Valley is on the subway, straight north out of Taipei. Right now, we are in the Phoenix Pavilion Hotel. It is in the same area. There are about 20 hotels here. We picked this one. It's about $60 per night, so it's not cheap. What we're sitting in right now is our own private hot spring. It's built into the hotel. We're on the 3rd floor, and this is fantastic. Oh, it's a ghost.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Hashtag Innisfree. Hashtag face mask.
Can't open it.
Alright, I've got to be really quick. This is the Thermal Valley. It is amazing. We turn the corner and it's this. It's really great. And I'm also hoping you can still see me, so I'm just going to cut this now. It smells like you're being farted on by a big egg. This trickle of a waterfall seems to feed into the whole Thermal Valley. And then everything gets heated up and comes out in an enormous cloud of sulfur stink and beauty. I'm trying to imagine something that looks gorgeous and smells fucking horrible. It's like me. Authors like Neil Gaiman and Matt Haig have been talking for years about the death of the library in the UK and the US. But here, in Beitou, the library is abuzz. This is the Beitou Public Library. It is huge, it is beautiful, and it is jam-packed full of people. Children studying, parents helping them pick out their books. And this area is quiet, apart from the cicadas, the jackhammers, and the birds. This place is very, very sparse. It's just hot springs and mountains and forests, and a huge, gorgeous library. And it's buzzing. Taipei has a lot of book festivals, it has a lot of great authors, and it seems to have a real appreciation for the written word, and that isn't going anywhere. So if you're coming to Taiwan and you're only in Taipei for a few days, and you want to experience all the cafes and all the restaurants that they have to offer, Taipei has very graciously invented for you Yongkang Road. So as soon as you're feeling hungry, hop on the orange line or the red line and head to Dongmen Station, get out exit 5 and take the first right that you see, and you'll come to places like this. So Jess was like, why are you getting your camera out? I was like, I'm going to film my coffee. And she was like, film your coffee? But yeah, because it looks like this. Xiangshan, or Elephant Mountain, is within the city limits. It's the east end of the Red Line, just beyond the 101 Tower that hopefully you can see behind me. It's a 20-minute hike up some fairly steep stairs. We've done it on a rainy day and it was still worth it. Come here. This is Ningxia Market. Street food is a very, very big deal in Taiwan. In mainland China, it has been quashed a little bit. Recently in Hong Kong there were actually protests because the government was trying to get rid of, or at least really clamp down on street food. But in Taiwan it is a mainstay of Taiwanese culture, and it is a great place to come if you're on a budget and if you're looking for some really good food. There can be a little bit of concern when it comes to street food in certain places. If you go to Thailand, if you go to some parts of Southeast Asia, a lot of travelers and tourists or wannabe travelers will say, oh, I worry about diarrhea. It's not the case. That's ridiculous, especially when it comes to anywhere in China, Taiwan or Hong Kong. Street food is phenomenal. If you don't know what the thing is, just eat it. When I first arrived in Shanghai years ago, a friend of mine who'd been living there for a long time said to me, hey, Will, just here's the thing, eat the thing. Here's the thing, eat the thing. Take the thing and eat the thing. If you like the thing, great. If you don't eat it again. And when it's this cheap and this delicious, you got nothing to lose. Now, if you know your languages, you'll see that there is some Japanese here. Some of the signs are written in katakana and hiragana, and also in Korean Hangul. There is a lot of food from a lot of different places here, and there is something to love for everyone. The only thing I will say is if you are vegetarian, if you are vegan, you can struggle a bit. However, I'll take this moment to note that Taipei is the most vegan-friendly city that I have seen in East Asia. More so than in Korea, where actually vegetarianism is almost looked down on. And in Japan and in China, it can be a bit iffy. But Taiwan, no. Vegetarianism and veganism is welcomed here. Not so much in the markets. In these markets, you will see a lot of strange meats, a lot of pork, a lot of beef. I myself don't actually eat pork, but there's a lot of chicken, and I like chicken. Now, if, like me, you are a disgusting weeaboo, and you actively encourage video games to control most of your life, then Taipei City Mall has you covered. It's located underneath Taipei Main Station, and it has everything a nerd could want. And clothes and souvenirs and other stuff. We certainly didn't see everything that Taipei has to offer, and that only gives us 100 more reasons to return. In fact, this video is a bit of a lie, because we also took a few food and cycling tours not seen here. To learn about those, which were graciously provided to us by the tour companies themselves, you can read about them at www.booksandbow.com. And if there's anything glaringly obvious that we missed, let us know about it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Taipei!